Hey, you too. It's me, Tasha, again, and I just got through watching the new series. I purposely said that. The new season of Love and Hip Hop New York, season 4, episode 1, the premiere. And while I'm doing this, actually, Mr. and Mrs. Chrissy's Jones, whatever they show, was actually playing. I got on mute and shit. I'm gonna try to do this review before Black Ink comes on or put on pause, whatever. I got a DVD, whatever. And I like to say it's interesting that Mona's ass had to basically bite off her spin-off show in order to resurrect and possibly save her original show. You see what I'm saying? She had to go to the new cast, technically, of Atlanta, meaning that, like I said, that's the spiritual, that's not even original. She had to clean up, take half the cast off, which I honestly would have liked if she would have kept Laurel, because she seemed like a cool ass chick. But everyone else, like Rocky, Beaver Teeth, and Miss Whiny's ass, was no problem them taking them off. They was irrelevant. Let me say from here, just a little quick announcement. Considering, I decided if any of y'all, the few two people that was watching, besides Mike, shout out to Mike, that was watching my Blacklist reviews, I realized, like, even though it's a good show, I'm still gonna watch it myself, but y'all don't like it based on the views. Unless y'all want to put in the comments and say, like, well, just try to continue. Nah, I'm not gonna worry about it. So let's get on with this review in the making, okay? Now, sorry about that. Kick my little table desk. Now, Mona's ass has to start off with the typical theater introduction video ass, some goddamn telling the story and shit to us all. Because she has to try to, I guess, maybe indirectly not to catch us, our attention as an audience. But she wants to let you know, like, you thought I was losing the show, but I have another trick up my sleeve. And I'm going to bite off of my successful show that's been saving my ass to stay on the air for another probably 3 seasons. So I'm going to bring up, a situation, that made my show popular, which we have the Mimi slash different version Stevie J, Jocelyn situation. I'm like, as soon as they even showed the previews of it, we already know now about this twist, but it's like it's the same damn story. Now I'm just gonna talk about K Michelle real quick, only because it seems like even though she's supposed to be a main cast member, it's like she's kind of just going in out of here and just focus on just maybe on her career, and that's it. Because even the feature super trailer thing that they're not really focusing on, like she's really gonna be in and out of the drama. She's not gonna bring the people in into bring the tongue twister. Okay. In other words, Michelle's only there, and this probably is around the time when right before her album had just came out, and so her focus is on the course of her career, as it should be. So, um, as usual, she's still sticking with the superhero red hair and everything, and she just really kind of showed that she was just saying, I'm arrived, I'm moving to New York. Her friend Parrots, she gets off the plane. I like the shoes. And they're just talking about, now she's talking about she want to go Caucasian man, might go there because she's still having problems with a hot pocket and needs to get right and shit. I don't know if they're gonna talk about that guy she recently broke up with. That was, I don't know who it was, but another basketball player that she was with. And so, anyways, we're just gonna get that way because, like I said, her story was just like introduction, like I'm here, but at the same time, she really was an episode, and it looked like she only gonna be in a few scenes. So let's get into it. I have my chicken scratch notes, so that way, okay, that way I can keep up on everything. All right, now really, we have the opening scene of Yandy, and she's taking the responsibility of Mercedes Mendices. Oh, I hate saying that name, Medicis. I'm sorry, and because the baby's name is Medicis, his first child, Junior. We're gonna call him Junior, okay? She's Yandy's taking responsibility of Junior, and he's staying with her, a couple nights out of the week and shit. And she's still, it's 5 months later and it's still no bail set. It's still like he's there, but she doesn't know what's going to happen type of thing. And they're lying to Junior that he's supposedly that he's in the army. And that's really what's going on in her situation. And she's still waiting. She's still trying to hold the family down. And whatever the case is. Now we have Tara and Peter Guns. Now it's interesting enough. I understand Peter Guns is really trying to correct his career, especially since it seemed like his sons is pretty much downhill. Because we all know Corey Guns, there was a series that Nick Cannon was involved with on MTV about 2 or 3 something, probably about 3 something years ago now, and it was called The Son of a Gun. And Corey Guns, which is Peter Guns' son, is a rapper, and he's with Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne is kind of doing him like P Diddy did some or some of these people. They'll get a bunch of people on their label, and then they just keep them shelved. I mean, I think he came out recently with another mixtape or something, but I don't know for sure. But I'm thinking like, God damn, even back in the day, even if you never heard of these artists again, certain artists, they still at least had one, main major real album come out. Emil had a goddamn album. Okay, if everybody remember the Hills late 90s, Can I Get a What, and shit like that. Supposedly, rumors that she was with Jay-Z way before he got with Beyonce type of thing. Even Truth Hurts. Okay, if y'all remember Truth Hurts on Dr. Dre's level, because you know how he got some issues, what I'm saying, with working with women and stuff and relationships. Well, we ain't gonna go there in this episode, at this time. Yeah. So, anyways, he was supposed to have an album. He still don't have a goddamn album out. I didn't know about that he had these two little brothers, whatever. The other one's kind of recent. He's like probably on the age of 1, but he has another brother who probably must have been born around right when this reality show was coming to be about. But I'm just saying is that Peter Guns was introducing himself again, since he's like one of the so-called, support cast members, but really trying to stand out. He's been with Tara. She came from Mississippi. She's, been in acting. She met him in the music. She was working in a music store. And she's just been back and forth, just, I don't know, the consistently together for 13 years. I knew when she even said that shit. I'm like, Mimi, 15. Tara, 13. Okay? Like I said, it's like, we're just doing it uptown, New York style. I'm probably saying, oh, sorry about that, y'all. I'm from Detroit. But I'm just saying that the thing is that we're trying, they're only, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm a little high of sugar cookies. I'm sorry. But what I'm just keeping it real with y'all is, they do have a little extra twist on this shit. Where, I'm gonna get later on down when I'm, about to wrap this shit up. So she has 2 boys, and they're talking and getting gig around. They're supposed to be going to a promotional party. That Rich Dollars and Yandy, they're like business brothers and sisters and shit. And he's, Peter Guns now, Mr. Uptown baby. Mr. I'm still, let you know I'm sexy in this wife beater. I mean, he still looks good, after all these years and shit. I'm gonna give it credit where it's due, okay? But at the same time, he's a manager of this girl, and I do remember the group called Black Butterflies. Like, I can't remember exactly what songs, but I do remember hearing that group. I think like in the early 2000s or some shit, whatever. So they're supposed to go to the promotion party, and Anita Butterfly, okay, is supposed to be performing. I guess they're having like an open mic or whatever. And it turns out when they go to the party, Rich Dollars and Yandy turn out that they're going to start their own record label. And so of course Peter Guns is excited about this because he's managing, and since this girl's supposed to be quote quote so great that his artist, okay, it's supposed to be so great that they'll eventually can work together and can be a very great business deal for all 3 of them, or I guess 4 if you want to include her ass, okay? Now her name is Amina, and actually she's this new chick, this chick that's used to be in the group Black Butterfly. It was 3 of them, but I didn't know they were sisters. And she originally came from Germany, and she came, I guess, stayed here, and her sisters came back. They're in motherhood, got their own stuff going on, and she just decided she wants to still pursue a solo career. At the promotional show or whatever that they had, she showed she has a little skills, but maybe it was just me. But did it sound a little auto tunish, or when she was singing something, just the backtrack or something, or maybe that's just me. It just sounded like she was singing and somehow they alter her voice a little bit. That sounds a little, well, maybe it's just me. But so after the performance, because she obviously knows to play the keyboard, later on we also see that she's also kind of good at guitar. So it's good that she's multi-talented, and that works considering that it's very rare you see people sing in this case sometimes, let alone if they are able to say dance and or play instruments. So she goes, hugs her, blah, 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 blah. And Rich Dollars and Yanni, I guess, it was crying, whatever, about the performance, made her name Miss Mercedes. I'm sorry, I ain't gonna get his name right worth of shit. So his name is Mercedes, okay? Mercedes. And maybe that's why she was having some type of, emotional moment. But they're thinking about, okay, she's good. So, Rich Dollars and Yankees people want to talk to Peter Guns and probably her and probably make arrangements so they can possibly put them on their label. So, yeah, what else? Now, we got Joe Buttons and Tari, I don't know that child's name. Ass take over the whole screen. I mean, I can't take. I don't know Tari. I think her name is. I don't want to mess nobody else's name up, but they are back together again. They had to show snippets that I guess he's bringing back Joe Budden TV because that's how we heard about Tari and stuff like that, or kind of like I guess had like Joe Budden had certain fans after the pumping up shit was when him and her where he was making like all these blogs and shit like that. I think on YouTube or something like that when these come out. So they got back together, and I noticed, and anybody paid attention to the theme, whether because it was all in our faces, whether you liked it or not. It was definitely focused on ass and titties. Ass and titties. That's DJ Assault. That's Detroit shit. I mean, it was ass, titties. If I didn't, it was no such thing as copyright possible issue. I'll have that playing back in the background because that's all we had to see. You got Terry's. They got close ups when you just seen it busted wide open, and then when they skip there, because supposedly now they still haven't quote unquote had sex yet or possibly penetration. Some people don't count oral sex as, actual sexual activity, so you never know if that occurred. But she won't completely have sex with him, whatever, until after the STD tests come back, And once if everything's all good, then they'll bang bang. Okay. So anyways, next we got Erica, which I did notice, like I said, as soon as she went into the laundry, so they focused on, she's got to talk about her career modeling or music is still going very well and stuff like that, blase blase. And she looks a little more like I don't know if she gained weight or bulked up, whatever, but I mean not in body wise, but a couple parts look more enhanced, or bigger or noticeable. Yeah. So she got to do all this, all like I'm up here and I got the bra and everything, and I'm looking, she damn near just shimmering and shit, all about to motorboat us all in the goddamn camera and shit, because she wants us to be known that, she just titties, 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 titties. Okay, that's all I just kept saying because she got to try on 5 goddamn bras and shit, and here's Mona's focusing on, I guess, giving us the sex appeal and focusing on her girls, I guess. So, and Rich Dollars goes to meet her. Now, she's supposed to be having a so-called sex, some type of exotic book or something coming out. And she lets us know in the confessionals that she's playing, quote, quote, for the other team, whatever, right? So, it turns out that, her and Rich Dollars are still cool as friends. They trombones back and forth thing, whatever, right? And I did see that around this time, this was after she got, if y'all watch my Black Ink reviews, plug, that she had the scorpion tattoo, to cover up the R that used to be of, Rich Dollars' name. So this was filmed, a little bit right afterwards, or maybe around the same time, but, you could tell the scorpions now on her, I guess on the right hand right here. So here she got Erica's trying to get rich dollars advice about watch out for Petey Guns because she feels like he stopped her money somehow and her relationship with Rich Dollars and shit. So she has this problem because Rich Dollars talking about that we're probably working with Peter Guns artists and shit, and she's kind of like, okay, y'all. She's basically like, work with the artists, but Peter Guns, he's bad news and shit like that. Okay. Because, like I said, she has a personal dislike for him now because of what happened last season. Now, I stopped watching it, but like I said, I looked at some of my favorite YouTubers' reviews who was reviewing the show last year. So, was it last year? I don't know. They have a new season every goddamn 4 months, but you get what I'm saying. So, anyways, now we have the part here where Tara goes to see Yandy, and Yandy is still Yandy's still upset because they don't have a bail, and there's a minimum possibly 20 years. Also, right before that, Yandy was talking to Mercedes, and I'm gonna say this part was a little bit. I don't know. I just kind of feel about this scene because here I can understand that out of nowhere it seemed like everything was coming together. She just got recently engaged to Mercedes, and then they were getting this beautiful, lovely house, and finally, about to, get everything on track as far as life, love, and everything else. And then that's when Mercedes got taken down. And here she's even telling him that about, we're still in a relationship. Why do you say I'm beautiful, blah, blah, once in a while, blah, 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 and because I think it was as I was doing. And it was just kind of weird because the way almost she was talking, it's like, um, you know, uh, consider the circumstance whether he's guilty or not of those things. And his mindset, and could possibly doing 20 years, or even some cases even just 2 to 3 years, or even 1 year, or even a couple months now. She's kind of talking to him like, I know you should be thinking of me, and blah, 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 blah. Like I said, I really have no words for that, but I just felt a little awkward about it, because she's just like, I sent you pictures, and blah, 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 and everything else, and I don't know, is he in state or federal prison? Because isn't one of those, I think federal prisons when you get, those business the competition, those business where you allowed to actually have sex and stuff like that. You go visit, okay? And I don't know. Let's see one of those prisons and stuff like that. Whatever. It's just like she's still riding for him, but you could tell like she's really upset, and he's trying to keep it together because she ends up telling him, which I forgot to say earlier, as usual. You know how I am with these reviews. She was talking to Junior, and how it turns out she's still, they were saying about him not knowing about his father being in jail. She was asking how long it was going to take and stuff like that. And it turns out that he knew, and the little boy, like I said, the people be underestimating these children and stuff like that. But these kids be knowing what the hell's going on and stuff like that. Especially we got instant popcorn generation and shit, so they already know how to work a goddamn iPad and iPhone the minute they come out the mommy's womb. Okay, so I'm just saying is, I was not surprised that this baby at 7 years old knew that his father was in jail because he overheard them talking about it, and he was just like, I already knew, Tony Yanni, I already knew that my dad was in jail. I overheard y'all when I was asleep, but he was just letting y'all know, them indirectly know, like, don't play me for stupid. I know what's going on. I don't care if I'm sitting here watching Dora Explorer and Diego go, his cousin, at Sesame Street. Y'all can't fool me. I know I'm just learning my timetables, but y'all can't fool me. And that's what I'm saying. People be on the mess these babies and stuff, you know. So she was telling him about that, and even Mercedes was saying, like he's smart, whatever for his age. Even though he was kind of like wants to talk to him about it because he didn't want him to know about it. And that's kind of understandable because Andy was saying, I don't want him to look like the bad guy. And like I said, I'm not personally, in that situation. I mean, I know a couple people in my family, stuff like that, who are in that situation where they might be incarcerated and should involve. So like I said, that's a whole another ball game, maybe another video, maybe, you know what I'm saying? So let's just cut to the next scene. Now, turns out, I forgot to mention, after Peter Guns, when they had that performance, is supposed to meet with Miss Butterfly, Andrea Butterfly, whatever the fuck her name is. She turns out, they were indirectly talking, which kind of sounds suspicious. So next scene we seen, like, they're going, he's meeting her in the studio, talking stuff like that. And I remember she said something kind of like, "You want to play my piano?" And the way he was talking, he was kind of flirtatious and kind of suspicious. And it turns out she has a piano keys tattooed on one of her sides, whatever. And that's what it turns out is that she happens, you could tell that it turns out they've been going together for a year. Peter Guns, of course, claiming like, it's just, it happened because I had problems home. She has, problems with her boyfriend, and it's just miracle. She's so beautiful, and we just connected and blase, blase. You know what I mean? And that's what she's saying, like, oh, I'm in love with this man, and blah blah blah, and all this other shit, right? And one of those type of situation. Like I said, Mona trying to keep New York on here for another 2, 3 seasons. Okay, so she got to pull out all her bags and tricks and shit, and this is one of her tricks. Okay, so we have it where Tierra was waiting for Peter Guns one of them times after I think they fucked in the studio and probably at her apartment. He ends up, supposed to pick up his son and then, putting pussy before the children type of situation. And he forgets to pick up his son. So Tara meets him somewhere, I guess near the school, whatever, because of course she had to pick up her baby because he too busy, fucking and playing guitar music and shit with the butterfly bitch. And he ends up like coming up with some excuse to oh, I was in the studio, that type of excuse, and something like his phone was cut off or some bullshit. And I don't know, Tara said her assistant or her sister was one who sent it was an Instagram photo, and here's the butterfly all leaning on Peter Guns and shit. And of course she was suspicious. And it turns out this is not the first time Mr. Guns has been doing some fuck shit. So to a certain point, sadly, she shouldn't be surprised because it turns out that when she was pregnant, I don't know which the first or the second baby they had together. It turns out that this dude actually got another broad pregnant when she was pregnant. So, and I seriously doubt if this, if as we see this behavior, it has never, it's never too much went anywhere. It always stayed. Maybe she just put it under the rug and shit. But he of course making any excuse and then tries, play that psychological game like, well, do you think I'm cheating? No, I'm not cheating, and playing that shit. So that's still up in the air, whatever, right? So now we got it where after that shit, whatever. Now we got coming up where Peter Guns wants, say, Rich Dollars to have a personal, listening of the butterfly and shit. And that's where we find out, play guitars and shit. And then, this is how this seems a little sketched, not like the situation, but about knowing about it. Cause if Rich Dollars and Peter Guns been boys since they had snot running out their noses and their shoelaces been tied and shit, right? Why is it that it takes to listen party a year later and considering how to, if they're so cool close enough, Rich Dollar seems so fucking surprised about realizing that, Peter Guns is fucking with the butterfly bitch. And then on top of that, which I did notice it was good that Rich Dollars pointed it out, like, Peter Guns was telling him about not mixing business with pleasure and shit. Now on top of this motherfucker mixing business with pleasure, but he has a family at home and if someone's still trying to work it out just Tierra or not. So it's not like one of those situations like, Rich Dollars, at least what I know of, was supposedly a player hoe, but he wasn't tied down, I think, to anybody. I guess he was supposed to be with Erica. I don't know. Wait, because I think Erica didn't know. She thought they were somewhere. I don't know. Just a bunch of fuckery. But he's all, talking about, oh, isn't she pretty creative? And even Rich Dollars, like I said, thinking like, okay, shouldn't the music be important, more important than what the fuck she looked like? So yeah, the last scene is Peter Guns ends up leaving the shit, right? Whatever. And it turns out Rich Dollars, that maybe explain some of his anger problems and shit, and I still, might be, I'm just saying. It turns out that obviously he's been trying to get some help and stuff because Peter Guns made some comment about him being so 40. I mean, I think not him not having no alcohol, and that's what Rich Dollars says. Like, I've been 40 days sober or something like that. So he decides to have a talk with her. Of course, she's trying to say it's not his business or whatever, personal business, but that personal business can affect the business in that situation. Then on top of that, like I said, Rich Dollaz was trying to tell Peter, like, you got a family on. Do you know how much bullshit you got yourself into? It's worse than me. And he even tried to tell this bitch, now, the bitch got a lot of nerves with talking about, oh, it's none of his business and stuff like that. If she at least could have played off a little nice. You know why? Because, bitch, ain't you trying to go on Rich Dollaz and Yandy's label? And you trying to check him to a certain point? Like, it just seemed like she was just trying to brag about the situation and shit like that. Like, oh well, And then she claims that, quote, quote, unless it's some common law shit, whatever, she got a tattoo says Mrs. Pookie or whatever the fuck is Peter Gunn's nickname and shit like that. Oh, we're married and shit like that. And that's how it kind of ends when you see the super trailer. And I'm just like, the fuck? I mean, there was also another scene like, Terry and this damn results and shit about, they had, he is going to make up for not having the money when I guess Terry and Joe Button were getting back in the day. He always was, scraping from the bottom of the pot. But now since he got a little change and stuff, Terry is happy about what he's going to do in the long run. Or basically she's about to get, I put all these years and shit like that. I'm about to enjoy, whatever Joe Button has in store for me. He's going to court me and shit. But other than that, it looks like it might possibly be the interesting scene. We didn't see the other woman, Saigon. So what is Saigon rappers? And his baby mama, I guess, is gonna come in the next episode. But it looks like it might be way better than last season, whatever. So, that's me with my review. Enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all take care, and I'll see y'all next review. Goodbye.